Welcome to Conversation with Haych, and we have an excellent guest with us today, an independent music artist who has played at the London Jazz Festival, So Far Sounds, the Vortex, and the Crime Jazz Festival? Yeah, in Amsterdam and Rotterdam. Her latest album, If You Knew You Would Care, is out right now to be purchased and streamed. That's correct. So go stream that now. Don't even if you have to pause this video, go stream that. Go to Spotify. You're gonna see Bianca Rose. I said her name already, but go to Bianca Rose and you're gonna see that. You're gonna see Skin. You're gonna see all them kind of tune there. She's a co-founder of I Am Independent with the amazing Loretta Andrews, a space to help and give resources to help independent music artists to grow and thrive. She's also a voiceover artist, so if you guys need her to do any kind of voiceover stuff, make sure that you pay the fees, the proper fees. I introduce you to the amazing wife, mother, sister, and everything in between. Miss Bianca Rose, how are you doing today?
Very well, happy to be here.
That's good.
Yeah, man. Good to be chatting after the global P.
1000%. Oh my gosh. For those who don't know who you are, how would you describe Bianca Rose?
I mean, you've done very well.
Thank you.
You know, so you kind of did it, but I'd say, yeah, I'm a wife, I'm a mum of two daughters. I'm a human trying to navigate this thing called life. I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, as you say, the voiceover artist, fledgling, but been done some bits. Yeah, done some bits. And I just think I'm just a creative. I love everything creative, and I've learned not to put myself in a box. So who knows what if you interviewed me in 5 years, I'll probably have different things to say. Yeah. How
would someone describe you when you were younger?
I'd say I was conscientious, hardworking. I don't know if they would have clocked that it was more of a people-pleasing type of hard work, trying to do the right thing, but I liked, education and working hard. Agreeable, again, maybe from a people-pleasing perspective. Finding herself, potentially.
How would you describe yourself when you were younger then?
The way I've just described it.
Is there anything different?
I don't know if there's anything different. I just think it took a long time to discover who I am, and then also to be happy with who I am.
Got ya.
So, and I think that's just come later. So I'm not sure how to describe it. I think, I loved life. I loved people. I'm introverted. I'm an introvert, but I do love people. But
in the right setting.
I honestly prefer to be alone most of the time. I would. So being a wife and a mum, I love my people. But I need
love
time.
Your space.
I need time. So I'll describe myself in that way.
So in terms of those times where you said you had to find yourself, then you had to kind of be happy with yourself, those come at two different times. Finding yourself and then being happy with who you were. Yeah,
I think we're continually discovering who we are, and some people are more comfortable with that journey of discovery, and I think that I don't think I was just comfortable with just blossoming and blooming. I think because that comes with its growing pains, and I don't think that I was always comfortable. I didn't always like my hard edges, or I wasn't kind to myself, and I think potentially that's to do with my upbringing. I think I had a difficult childhood, and I don't know if I was taught to like myself. So it's been a journey of self-acceptance. You know what I mean? Through my faith, and just through journey, like other people affirming who I am and liking me, has helped me to like myself. Do you know what I mean?
Is that the one thing that kind of sticks with you from your childhood then? You kind of like get into a place of essentially loving who you were or who you were becoming?
I think that happened entirely in my adulthood.
Wow, okay.
So I think it's just been in recent years, just, through my relationship with my partner, with my husband, he's very much into personalities. He's like a executive coach as part of what he does and stuff. So him kind of helping me to discover, who I am and dig into myself from a personality character standpoint. And that, you know, accepting the varieties of, you know, who other people are and then who I am myself and then my place in the world and my place within relationships and friendships. I think it's just it happened in later life more than childhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back to kind of younger life then, younger Bianca. When does that spark for music come from, singing come from, considering what you just told me, you're introverted, you're introverted, you liked your own space.
Yeah.
How does that person then turn into singer-songwriter?
Yeah, good question.
Bianca Rose?
I think it's church. I used to go to me and my sister used to go to my grand's every weekend.
Yeah.
And we used to go to her church. And then she just, you know, it's a Pentecostal church, so we just go and she'd be like, you know, conventions and stuff. You guys are going to sing a song, here's a hymn, we'd learn it. And I really loved that. Me and my sister, I would be lead, obviously. and she'd do the harmonies. And I really enjoyed that. And regardless of my introversion, I don't think I realised, you know, the fact that I get my energy from being alone. I don't think that was something I was in tune with when I was young, but regardless of that, I loved being on stage and using my voice to communicate in that way. I always just loved that. So that was the kind of conception of like experiencing that and feeling like I like how this feels. You know? Was
there any other influences on your creative side when you were younger as well? Or was it literally just you being in church and that kind of bringing that side out of you?
No, and my family is quite creative. You know, I've got a uncle who's a musician, an incredible guitarist. Like a lot of my mum's side, musical or creative in one way or another through baking or knitting or definitely music. So I come from a creative family and various disciplines in the arts. So I saw that and I probably always gravitated to it at school as well, just the creative stuff, productions and different bits and bobs.
So where in all of this does you wanting to be a barrister come into all of this?
In it.
Because you got a creative family.
It's confusing.
You start singing in church and then it's like, but I want to be a barrister at the same time.
It's interesting because I don't know where it came from, but I always said I wanted to do it. And I thought about it and I think that, you know, I remember watching like Perry Mason. Do you remember Perry Mason? Yeah, it's because I'm old. It's like a detective, barrister, a lawyer. He was a lawyer, and it's an American program. And you know, they figure out who did it, and then he convicts them in court.
Like a murder she wrote type thing.
But it's more based in court.
In court, okay.
You know what I mean? And it's funny that I'm only connecting that now, but that. I remember watching that, but I don't know how I decided that I wanted to be a barrister, but I decided at some point, quite young. And I think when I would say it, it would be impressive. Do you know what I mean? My mum was proud of that, or I would say it and I'd see that people were impressed by that. Looking back, I think I was connected more to that feeling. So I just carried that on. I said it, and I believed that I wanted to do it. Until I was doing it at university and realised, I don't want to do this. I actually quite like it. It's interesting, but I don't want to do this. So I quit after a year.
Does that all come back to the whole people-pleasing thing, you reckon?
I think so, in some way. I don't think anyone else would have been able to twig, because I think I believed that I wanted to do it. But I think it was connected to how that made me feel, and how you seeing how other people felt about it.
So why did you kind of like, after a year, say, this ain't? Because
I was living that. And I was like, no, this isn't it. This isn't it. I don't know what is it, but this isn't it. Do you know what I mean? I knew that. You live it, you're in your body and you're in the space. And it was a no for me. So, so after I just quit. It was like I was having a difficult time family-wise and there was lots of things going on, but then I was doing this and I was like, this isn't it. So I just stopped.
Did you learn anything along that short law journey that you kind of still helps you or still come back to in your life at the moment? Or was it just like it was so short that
it was too short to have learned anything from that? I think I've learned to pivot.
Okay.
And I think that's an important skill, because there's other times, even just little things with music and stuff, and just learning that feeling of, oh, this is a moment that you probably need to do a step change or pivot, and that might seem a bit weird, but I know what that feels like inside of me to do that and not carry something on too long.
I'm with you.
So I've learned that, but that was it.
Are you doing the barrister thing and the music thing at the same time?
I'm doing no music.
What?
So I was like, all I did was singing at my grand's church, and then I'm going to uni and stuff, and I'm not doing that anymore.
So hold on.
Yeah. What had happened was, I decided I was going to quit, and I didn't know what else I liked to do. And I thought the only thing I actually enjoy doing is music. Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm going to do that. And I didn't know what that was going to be like, but I just thought, well, that's the only other thing in my head that, and I've got to do something. I'm not going to sit around and do nothing. But that's the only thing that I feel like I enjoy. So I started to just make my way into that. What I wish I'd done is that, because I was done with education at that point, I didn't want to switch to something else and learn, but I wish that I had gone and decided to switch and do music. Because I think that would have been a good foundation for me. I played instrument and stuff like that, but I think it would have been a good experience and informing to have like gone on a formal educational journey at that point. But I didn't want to do anything. Didn't really have any guidance at that point or anyone kind of helping me to transition that. So I just quit and I decided I'm doing music. Just like that. That's it.
So you knew you enjoyed that. What was the first song that you wrote that you thought, this might be something that...
Okay, because that took a while.
Oh, wait, whoa. Okay.
I mean, because there's many an R&B song who no one will ever hear these songs in it. Many a song written in that between that point, the point of deciding to do music, to the point that you're trying to ask me this question. Many.
What was it about those songs that didn't click?
Okay, so when I decided, okay, I'm going to do music, you don't really know how, and especially it was kind of you're going to just sing into your camera and put that online. Like it was very much pre those days. So how do I do music? And so... And
there weren't streaming platforms or anything like that?
Don't age me, bro.
No.
It's a lot of aging going on. What it is that it was some time ago, before some things that we have now, of which we
That's
the
better way to do it. Okay.
And
wow. Sorry, my apologies. No, but I can imagine because like even those types of things really have only come to prominence in the last like 10 years.
2 years. 6 months. I know exactly what
you know what I mean? The last 2-3 years really have been at this.
Exactly.
You get me?
Exactly. Anyway, so at that time it was like, who do you know? And somebody's like, I know someone who's a producer. You should spend some time with him. So I would just go to his house and he'd be just, smoking weed and just doing beats. And I was so shy and had such bad stage fright that I was just like sit in the corner and like he'd be doing beats and I'd just like, and have like these little... that's another story. Like the stage fright was bad because it's different. Okay, no, we're jumping around now because your face is causing the jumping around.
It is my face. I know I apologise for the facial expressions I am making at this current point in time. However, we just spoke about going to grandma's church with your sister. You guys singing the hymns. You love. That's what you said. You love being on the stage and being able to communicate through your song. Now you've just told me, we've clearly missed a part of the story here. You've just told me that you had stage fright when you initially started recording songs. So something in between has happened that we haven't discussed.
I don't know if anything's happened. I think I was always petrified because there's a lot of people that are though that do the work that we do. Like you are afraid, but then there's the exhilarating feeling. Also, I feel like church was different. It was a different, there was a different level of comfortability. There's no pressure. I'm not like putting myself out there as this is what I'm doing. I've got something to prove. I'm just like, the grannies at church be loving me. Do you know what I mean? So it's different. But when I was doing it, decided, this is what I want to do, and you're getting in the studio and someone's like there and there.
Like sing.
Yeah, or you know, what have you got? Or we didn't really have any expectations. She basically just ignored me, which was good. And I'd kind of, you know, lift my voice above a whisper and come up with some lines. And I realised I could write to an extent.
Yeah.
I could form thoughts into something that could potentially be singable. It wasn't good. I didn't know. It was more like poetry and stuff over music. But anyways, I started doing that. And so in that process, all of those songs weren't the songs in it. Until my uncle gave me a guitar one day. He just like gave me a guitar, and it was just the right, because I tried to play guitar before because he had one, and I was like, but then it was just, I don't know, it was timing. He gave me one, and then I taught myself a few chords, and I started writing, and I wrote a song, and I played it to him. He's like, oh, this is good. I was like, cool. He's like, I'm going to an open mic, you want to come? I was like, yeah.
Wow.
So I went to the open mic, and I'd only been playing for a few weeks, so obviously I can't really play. Do you play an instrument?
Yeah. So trying to play and do something else at the same
especially
time.
guitar.
Because
you're just like placing your fingers on the thing,
and
then
you're looking at the guitar and you're trying to look at the people.
You can't do that. So after it was like 2 or 3 weeks, he's like, "Okay, let's go to this open mic." Cool. When we got there, like I just assumed that he'd play for me and I'd sing in it because I can't play guitar in it.
Okay.
And so I put our names down. He's like, "You're going to play for yourself?" I was like, and he's like one of those uncles that you don't really argue with too tough in it because he's got a side in it. So it's like, yeah, of course, yeah, I'm going to play for myself, of course I am. And so I said, what the heck? And then it was packed as well. There were just so many people. It was just like a rammed open mic, and all these people are coming up. Someone's playing the spoons because it's an open mic. It's whatever. Then it's my turn, and I get up and I get up there and I just start doing my song, and I can't play, you know, I can't play the guitar, but somehow I'm singing through it, and everyone is silent. It was noisy when everyone else, not everyone else, but people were just, distracted.
Chatting at the bar and everything like that.
But somehow people were engaged. Like it was literally silence, and I'm like struggling through this song, but I'm singing through it. And so the message is coming across, or whatever I'm singing, I don't remember the song. Yeah. And then, I don't know, halfway through, second verse or whatever, you know, my uncle starts playing, hearing a guitar playing from the back of the room, and he starts playing along as I'm singing, and he gets up and he's playing the guitar and everyone claps. It's like this like cute man. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I witnessed this. People are like, no, I'm joking. But it was a great moment. It was a great feeling. And that was like amazing. And then I went back to that open mic for weeks and weeks and weeks until I found others. And that's where I built my confidence kind of to play imperfectly and share, because you can share your story and your thoughts, and it doesn't have to be perfect. That helped me with the stage fright as well, because I played crap from the start. But somehow I know how to connect with people, tell stories, sing stories. So that kind of helped with the stage fright. I had to kind of figure out what the psychology of my stage fright was, because it was really bad. Even then, like the sound used to get sucked back because I couldn't breathe. It was so bad. And I had to just do some mind, like, I was like, God, I don't understand this, because I feel like I'm supposed to be doing this. I feel that, not supposed to, because I just don't really like that way of talking. But I feel like there's something here, like I'm drawn to this, but I'm so afraid. Like there's a disconnect somehow. Then I was doing research, athletes, nerves and stuff like that, and I found this quote that cracked it for me. And it was like, to live in the mind of another person is a foolish place to be. And that's what I would do. I would like find the person in the room who looked like they were hating it. And I'd look at their face and I'd be like, oh my gosh, because you're hating it because I'm crap. Of course I am. And it would just wind me up, and I'd just perform poorly. And what I realised that, you know, sometimes you're concentrating on what I'm saying. Your face is not necessarily saying what's inside your head. Someone could be smiling, going, this is so rubbish. Or they're concentrating, and their concentrating face doesn't look like they're liking what they're seeing. But regardless, I don't know what you're thinking. So it's a stupid place to be living in your mind. That really helped me to work my way through that. So yeah, I don't know how we were getting there, but those songs from when I picked up a guitar, they helped me. That was the beginning of my journey.
What's special about how you communicate through song is that not everyone can do that, and not so much get away with, but not play that in a way that sounds like it goes with the song.
Mm-hmm.
So some people will play and they'll sing, and one bad chord throws off the whole audience or whoever's listening to them. But the fact that you're able to communicate clearly through your voice and then play and still mess up, and people are still quiet, silent, wanting to listen to you, want to hear what you've got to say, shows that you're clearly a very good communicator through your songs. Do you feel that?
I do feel that. I think there's a level of being, because if you're like, if it really messes you up that you made a mistake, that's gonna like change the vibe of the scenario. But if you like, I was always like, okay, because that first time I was making mistakes, but I had to sing through it because what else am I going to do? So if you're like, okay, somehow I have to be comfortable with this moment and help everyone else to be comfortable, so they can get over it if you can get over it, and then you're going to bring it too. You know, and I think writing for me was also a big thing. I remember at the time, Kanye West saying people were telling him that he hasn't got a good voice as a rapper or whatever, and he was like, I'm gonna make sure every word that I write like bangs basically, and that was kind of a fuel for me, because I was never really confident in my voice like that, or even in my playing, but I was like, I'm gonna write so that you're gonna listen to what I'm gonna say. So I really did lean on what I was saying, so people were, I think, and are often engaged in the message or the story of what I'm saying as well, and then I had to kind of work on all the other stuff to be confident and learn to like my voice, become a better player. Do you know what I mean? So the songs were really important to me.
That's an amazing skill, you know, to be able to write and say, regardless of how I sound, I'm gonna make sure that they get this message through this music. That is an amazing skill to have.
There's people like that, you know. I might not think that Bob Dylan has the most incredible voice, but you know, you listen to those songs, they're serious songs that he writes, and there's so many people that the writing is there. Like even things like country and western, they might not be my genre, but if you listen to those songs, you're like, oh, you guys are writing about like, how are you putting that all in a song? And you can appreciate it, get into what's being said, even kind of find yourself, you know, bubbling a little bit because you're like, this is a moment, because the song is speaking to me. I think that's important.
You start releasing music after that point. Then you get to, is it No Fear Here? Had a lot of great reaction to that. Did you feel any pressure on top of the great reaction that you had to that in terms of releasing music again, releasing another album, just based on what people think of this? Now I've kind of set a level that I have to kind of maintain. Did you feel any pressure in regards to that, or was it kind of like,
no,
I've got this?
No, I didn't feel pressure, but I also didn't feel like I've got this. I never felt that. I don't feel that. I think with No Fear Here, it was interesting because I don't really feel like it was I don't feel like it's my first album. I feel like If You Knew, Would You Care truly is my first album. And I say that to say, like, I'd taken a big break from music before I released that. I was just like, when I was doing all these open mics and I was going for it, and I really got into the scene, live music scene, and there was traction, there was momentum there. Having lots of meetings, it was kind of an exciting time. And then I started to question my journey. And just be like, why am I doing this? Why am I running so hard? And I kind of had a little bit of a fear came, like, what if I am running hard and I get all the things I want and I get to the top of this mountain? I've said this story to my friends so many times. I get to the top of this mountain, this career mountain.
And there's nothing else? No,
and it's like, I'm at the top of the wrong mountain. Like, I'm supposed to be over there, but I'm at the top. How do you climb down from the top? If you're like, Beyonce's happy with who she is, but if you're trying to be at that level in this arena, and then you get there and it's not where you're supposed to be, that's hard to climb down from. So I thought, well, what I hadn't really assessed what I'm trying to do, and if that really feels right for my life. So then I started saying no to everything, and I stopped. I met my husband, and then life just took a different turn. And I was like, yeah, it's not. I got very sad because I stopped doing music, but then I was really sad about not doing music, and I just had a lot to work out. So once I felt like I worked out, I know I love this and what the success looked like to me, and why do I really want to be here, and I kind of answered those questions for myself. I just started writing stuff, and so No Fear Here it wasn't less of an intentional album. It was kind of, I collected all these songs that I wrote out of that time, and I wanted to document that journey because it was important to me. Yeah. So I made those songs into an album. But it's just like I curated those songs into an album to document the fact that this was like a real life moment for me, and now I know I want to do this, and I'm not going to do it afraid. I'm not afraid to do it. But if you knew, would you care? Like, that's an album I decided to make, and I wrote songs for, and it was crafted, and it's a wholly different experience. So that's what I feel like. No Fear Here was just, an essay, a document. You know,
it's kind of like, not that I'm back type album, but it's like, here's what I've kind of been working on. This is what I've been feeling. Yeah. Here you go.
Yeah, or like, okay, I'm stepping into this place, and these are the stories of where I've been. Maybe.
What would you say is your greatest strength as a music artist, and what's the greatest area of improvement you feel you need to work on?
I think I can write, and I think being able to write is a powerful tool to have. And I lean into that, and I want to grow in that area and become better, and I think that is powerful. I think also a strength is that, like, I'm in competition with no one. You know, like, I celebrate everyone else's journey and where they're going, and I don't want to be where anyone else is. I just want to get to where I want to be, or where my journey is going to take me. And I also think that's really important, because there's just so many opportunities to struggle when you see other people shining and doing their thing, because it's hard to do music. So I think that's a strength. Not that I don't have my moments, I do, but like, I can come back to, like, why am I here? What am I doing? Do I feel happy where I am, where I'm going? Cool, can continue. I think growth. I mean, there's so many things. I think I could just be a better instrumentalist. I think I could be a better collaborator. I'm learning to be a better collaborator, because, I like to be an island, but no man is an island. I'm learning. And through this album as well, just, learning to ask, even some of the collaborators, just like asking, they can say no, and then saying yes, helps me with my confidence. Just being a better collaborator is one of the things that I would love to be better at.
Was there ever opportunity for you to no longer be an independent artist, and why have you gone down the independent artist route if there was an opportunity?
In those early days before I quit, there were a lot of meetings happening, and then I just started saying no to stuff, and just trying to figure out where my head was at. I just think at that time it was really hard. There wasn't really much information. There's lots more now, but back in my day, there wasn't much out there. Do you know what I mean? So that was what the most difficult thing was. Like, how do you promote what you do, or how do you whatever, fill in the blanks? That's why I'm Independent exists, because we didn't want anyone else to have a question about doing their music and have to look at 65 billion places to find the answer and cobble it together. That's why it exists.
So essentially your own independent music journey is why you guys set up I Am Independent. What's the kind of goal with I Am Independent?
It's fluid.
It's a mixture of stuff.
I think initially we just wanted to be like this one-stop shop. If anyone had a question, we wanted that they could come to I Am Independent and find their answer. Any musician. I think we built up quite a library for our podcasts and for our video course and YouTube, socials that is there. People can dig, people can find answers. And also the world we live in now is different. You can, being independent is hard not because you don't know how, because there's places to find out how. It's just hard because it's hard. Going forward, I think we have to evolve, and I think that's what we're figuring out. And the business is changing all the time, so we're figuring out, we're not just an information source. If we're not just an information source, then what are we? And how do we move as the business is moving? So there are ideas, just figuring out which path to take. Yeah.
Since you guys produce these kind of resources and help independent artists, give them advice, you have different kind of people come on who are experts in their field to kind of give expert advice on different things as well. What piece of advice do you wish you had as an independent artist starting out yourself?
I mean, one of the main things which we do harp on a lot, and which I kind of spoke about, is knowing why you're here. What is your why? Because you can really kind of adopt other people's reasons for being in the business, or some just the typical ones, I don't know, be famous, have millions of people listening to my songs. But that's not enough, I don't think, because it's that hard. So I think really digging into that question, and it's not just there's 10 questions in that question. I think that's important, because that will inform your trajectory, and that will help you to stay in it when it gets hard next week, and then again next month, and then again next year. So knowing why you want to do it. I think that's the basic question.
You've kind of touched on it already, because you talked about meeting your husband when you kind of wasn't doing music at this point in time.
No, it was, but then I quit.
Then you quit.
Yeah.
So
dramatic.
Did becoming a wife and a mother, did that change your trajectory in terms of how you saw music, or how you saw yourself in music? Or was it just kind of you were on this journey anyway?
I think it helped me to know that I really want to do it, and it feels like that's part of my offering to the world, is music. I think family just given me a lot of balance. I was really focused, obsessed. There's nothing else that counts.
Really?
In those early days. I don't think it was healthy. So it's helped me to have a healthy outlook on life. I think it's also helped me to realise that there are other creative outlets. I think when you become a mum specifically, especially in those early days, doing music in a full-on way it wasn't really possible for me. I don't want to say it's not possible, but I wanted to be fully there, so you can't be
fully over
here.
There.
But then also having that burning thing to be creative in some way. So I had to find other ways to satisfy that feeling to be creative. So I got into creative direction for other people, websites, and learning how to do websites for people, and that satisfied me in that time. Or creative direction for photo shoots and things like that, for other people's projects. That helped me to feel creative. I got into makeup artistry and just lots of different things, and it showed me that I don't have to do music, doesn't sort of negate any other creative energy, or I can develop other disciplines. And I think for me that's healthy.
What have you learned most about yourself since becoming a wife and then becoming a mother?
These questions give you you have to find one answer. Do you know what I mean? Most. Most.
Forget most. What are the things that you've learned
Very good.
about yourself as a mother and as a wife?
I know.
I took out most.
Yeah. And now I have nothing. I get it. I get it. What things have I learned? I mean, I think the biggest thing I'm learning is to love. And that's, I know it sounds like, yeah, obviously, but I think when you, as a wife and a mum, I didn't, as a young person, I don't have a blueprint for that. I don't have I grew up with
this kind of household.
Or that parental, how to do this well. Actually my journey has been how to learn to do it for the first time. I don't, or unlearn what I experienced. And I didn't know how to be a wife, so I had to learn that. So I think my journey is literally learning a lot of things for the first time and becoming okay with my mistakes, because I am trying to do, I'm trying to be like a great mum and love my kids, love my husband, you know what I mean? So I think my journey is one of firsts, and I'm just like learning how to do that well. And knowing that I'm gonna mess up. I am messing up, and I'm how to like clean up my messes.
It's interesting that you say that, because when we initially started talking, you talked about how you had to love yourself or love who you're becoming, and then kind of, you know, or find yourself, sorry, and then love who you were. And now you're at a stage where you're like, yeah, I might make mistakes, but it's okay. Patience with yourself, which is something you had to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Previously, and now you're saying you're in like a season, well, not season, but
you're confronted with it all the time, because you've just got kids, just like literally every day, just like
new situations every day that you haven't, as you've spoken about, you don't have any previous experience of experiencing yourself or seeing around you. But patience is like key.
Major.
With yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously with your kids as well. Yeah. But patience with yourself is key, and I feel like you're still very much on a journey of, as you said first, but on a journey of still evolving as we are as human beings anyway. So it's just interesting to hear you say that, considering that you found yourself and you're just like, I'm still finding myself in all these different kind of roles and scenarios.
But I think that's life. You're going to keep doing that. It's going to be something else that's going to give you another piece to like develop. I think if I'm not trying to do that, I'm not really growing. But like this scenario, having children, that's like, that accelerates the learning.
Is there anything that you want more of in life that you don't have yet, and how do you go about getting that?
I think I want to learn to enjoy life a bit more, in that, not that I don't, but like seek out enjoyment. Like, and experiences. And I think definitely after the last few years, that's kind of a bit more of a priority, to seek out experiences that are gonna just add to the memory banks of life with the people I love, by myself. I think that it is going to inform me creatively, and it does as I lean into it. But it's not everyday work, isn't it? Or where am I going? What am I doing? Being on that track. Just like seeking out the beauty in every day. Like I just love blossom. Like, see all the trees, with all the blossom on it. Can I just turn that? No, it's no joke. That changes my day.
Really?
Like, and I'm like, especially in the season, I was like just learning to like go for a walk and look at it. Better mum, bro. Go home. Nice, my kids.
Really? Like, has that kind of...
Yeah.
Oh.
Or just like taking the time just to slow down and be aware. And that's one of those things. Like, this, I really, like, it's like food for my eyes and it's food for my soul. Then I'm a happier me. Then I'm a happier person to be around.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm with you. That's interesting. Because sometimes, you just look up and you notice things that you didn't notice before outside.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's...
Like, I don't have to care about it. But if I choose to, that could be good for me. Yeah.
My last question to you today, Bianca. It's been a great conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time.
You're welcome. It's been good.
My last question is, for where you're at in life right now, what advice would you give to yourself?
To myself now? I think our whole conversation has been advice to me. No, just you're all right. Do you know what I mean? You're good people. So just like accept that you're good people.
Bianca, I appreciate your time today.
It's been fun. Thank you. It's been
I
good
really
to
appreciate
chop
it.
it up.
Now this has been the amazing Bianca Rose. Make sure you go check out everything I'm talking about. It's Bianca Rose on Instagram. It's Bianca Rose? You don't use Twitter
It's
that much.
that Bianca Rose. No, don't. Twitter is a pointless.
Just Instagram.
I can only do one, really.
Yeah, Instagram. Go and follow her on Instagram. Go check out her on Spotify as well. You get me? I will go check out everything that she's done from skins to monsters. Go check it all out. This is Conversation with Haych. We'll have much more content coming for you very, very soon.